My name is John Idowu. I'm an extension agronomist with New Mexico State University, and I am based in Las Cruces, New Mexico. In this presentation, I will be sharing about a crop called guar. Guar is also called cluster bean, and as the name implies, it is a bean plant belonging to the family of crops called legumes. Guar is a summer legume. That is, it is normally grown in the summertime, and it is a drought-tolerant crop, and it also has low water use requirement. Guar is very well adapted to arid and semi-arid climate, characterized by high temperature and plenty of sunshine. Guar was first introduced into the United States in 1903 from India, and it has been grown commercially mostly in southwestern Oklahoma and northern Texas. Guar is a crop that can be used for many purposes. It can be consumed as vegetables, in which case the immature pods are harvested and eaten as vegetables. Guar can also serve as a forage crop for animals. It has a high nutritive value due to the high level of protein in the plant, and it can be added as part of animal diet. However, the most commercially valuable portion of guar plant is the mature seeds. The endosperm of the mature seeds contain carbohydrates that produce guar gum. Guar gum contains a unique polysaccharide called galactomannan, which is used as a thickener or stabilizer in food industry, and it's also used in pharmaceutical industries and for cosmetic products. However, more than 90% of guar gum is in demand by the oil and gas industries, where it is used as gelling agent added to water, creating a high viscous fluid that fractures the subsurface shale layers very efficiently for the liberation of oil and natural gas. Most of the guar gum used in the United States by oil and gas industry is imported from Asia. In the past, the United States has imported several billion-dollar worth of guar gum to service the demands of the oil and gas industries. And since virtually all regions of New Mexico are well adapted to production of guar, we need to develop our domestic production of guar for regional sustainable bioeconomy and for national security. At a recent meeting with a major guar processor, they expressed a great interest in processing guar grown in New Mexico, and they are very willing to work with farmers in New Mexico interested in producing guar. Additionally, a project was funded by USDA NIFA about 3 years ago to help with domestic production of guar. The project is titled Sustainable Bioeconomy for Arid Regions, and part of the mandate of this project is to help optimize the production of guar through agronomic research trials. We started multi-locational research trials last year to evaluate how different rates of nitrogen and phosphorus fertilizers affect the growth and yield of guar in Tucumcari and at 3 other locations within New Mexico. This research was sponsored by the Sustainable Bioeconomy for Arid Regions. I will be sharing the guar results from Tucumcari trial in this presentation. We conducted this experiment last year in Tucumcari with guar planted middle of June, and the plot size for our trials was 10 by 20 feet, and the variety of guar that we planted is called Kingman. We applied nitrogen at 3 rates of 0, 22.5, and 45 pounds of nitrogen per acre. And phosphorus was applied also at 3 rates, 0, 22.5, and 45 pounds of P2O5 per acre. Fertilizer treatments were applied at planting at all possible combinations of nitrogen and phosphorus rates that were applied. Since we had 3 rates of nitrogen and 3 rates of phosphorus, then we had a total of 9 treatment combinations. The experiment was a randomized complete block design with treatments replicated 4 times, giving a total of 36 treatment plots. Irrigation water was applied as needed by the crop, and we harvested the Guar beans in November of 2019. Now I will present some results and observations that we made during the season. We had some issues at the initial stages of crop growth. We saw some yellowing of the leaves in several plants. We suspected iron deficiency as the source of this yellowing or chlorosis. A foliar spray was used to correct the problem, and after the foliar spray were applied, the plants started growing normally and the yellowing of the leaves stopped. We also observed intense weed pressure at the early part of the season because we did not use any pre-emergence herbicide. We did some manual weeding to reduce the weed pressure. It is important for Guar producers to manage weeds in their fields, especially during the early part of the season, to avoid yield losses. Using pre-emergent herbicide is highly recommended, especially when you have a field with a very high weed pressure. The yield results were relatively lower than what we expected, probably due to the chlorosis at the beginning of the season, which set the plants back, and also due to the weed pressure. We did not see any significant yield differences at all the fertilizer combinations that we tested at Tucumcari. The average yield across all treatments was 789 pounds of beans per acre. However, the highest bean yield occurred at a fertilizer application rate of 45 pounds of phosphorus and 22.5 pounds of nitrogen per acre, with a bean yield of 952 pounds per acre. This yield was 15% higher than when no nitrogen or phosphorus fertilizers were applied. The experiment will continue over the next couple of seasons to validate the results. Thank you very much.